All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are planning on being brief and brilliant. We want to be respectful of everybody's time. This is Andrew Eisenhower, and I am in the system office, and I'm joined by the lovely Dr. Levita Pullins.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And today we are going to just take a few minutes to share with you some information about the FinTech industry. It's a booming sector here in Georgia, as well as the FinTech Academy. And before I really get started, though, I want to ask that everybody please mute your mics for us. You're already muted through the system, but just to make absolutely sure, if you wouldn't mind, please mute yourself on your end. We will have time for questions and answers at the very end of the presentation. But until then, if you have questions along the way, please put them in the chatbot feature of the system, and then we'll have them recorded, and we'll be able to address them at the end. I also want to thank profusely the eCampus folks for facilitating today and being such phenomenal partners throughout this entire endeavor of the broader FinTech Academy. They will actually be responsible for delivering the instruction that comes along with the Georgia FinTech Academy, but we will get into that later. But I want to thank them again for facilitating today, as well as for the design of this lovely presentation. Anything that you like about this presentation, most likely they were the ones responsible for it. Anything that you dislike, you can blame on me. But I also want to say that they are going to be holding a webinar of their own on the 15th and 16th. We highly encourage you to take part in those webinars as well. Those are going to be more informative about the actual onboarding process, the enrollment of eCampus students, and how all that works. Today is purely about educating you about what FinTech is, what we mean when we say that, as well as the Academy. All right, so let's get started. Well, FinTech, or financial technology, is an industry, and it's just like any other. You'll see on your screen several aspects of that broader industry. FinTech, perhaps more than any other industry, though, is embedded in our everyday lives. We use it every day, whether you're aware of it or not. Anytime that you check your bank statement online, anytime you swipe your debit card or insert the chip on your credit card, or even buy a gift card for someone, you are, without knowing it perhaps, utilizing financial technology. It is a major industry. It is growing every single day because it is so technologically driven. And so it is incorporated in just about every aspect of our lives today. Like I said, anytime that you use one of your cards or buy something on Amazon or Venmo someone or Cash App someone, you're actually using FinTech. Now, we've partnered with a few industry individuals who are helping us with this broader effort of the FinTech Academy. And one of them, the CEO of Elevon, a credit card processing payment company located here in Atlanta, is going to tell you a little bit more about what the industry is comprised of, if I can actually get it to work.
Of Elevon, a global payments company based in Atlanta that is part of U.S. Bank. Did you know that Georgia is a hub for financial technology, often referred to as FinTech? It is something to be proud of for those of us who live and work in this great state. When you use your credit, debit, or even gift card, odds are that payment is processed right here in Georgia. In fact, 70% of all U.S. payments are processed by companies based here. That's because Georgia is home to more than 160 FinTech companies that employ tens of thousands of workers. Broaden that out to the financial sector, you'll find 250,000 finance-related jobs right here in our backyard. The value of these companies isn't just in Georgia, though. Their reach extends far beyond our state and national borders, employing over 105,000 people around the world. Georgia's top FinTech companies alone generate over $72 billion in revenue, and you can be part of that growing presence. There's a lot of exciting careers in the FinTech space, and Elevon is proud to support organizations like the Georgia FinTech Academy as we work together to make this industry even larger. Check us out and explore your opportunities today.
All right. So I apologize if there was a bit of a delay there due to some technical difficulties. Again, that was completely on me, but hopefully that was kind of informative for you to give you a better idea of what we're talking about, especially as it pertains to our students here in Georgia and the incredible opportunities available to them. Just to reiterate, I know you saw some of these figures in that video, but want to put them in front of you once again so that you can get a deeper sense of just how massive this industry is. It is truly a global industry, but Georgia, for several unique reasons, is actually the global capital of fintech. We'd like to keep it that way. But as you can see, with incredible amounts of jobs and opportunity, there's also an incredible amount of demand, and Dr. Levita Pullins is about to share more with you about that and how that pertains to our students. But I did want to leave it on this slide for just a few moments more so you can get a better sense of what all we're talking about here. If you're able to see on the right-hand side of the screen there, those are just a few of the companies that exist here in Georgia that occupy this space. And you'll see a lot of brands that you're most likely familiar with. Equifax, E-Trade, NCR, and of course, it's not just here in Metro Atlanta, it's all across the state, including around Columbus with TSYS, a major component of Synovus, and also on the opposite side of the state around the Augusta area, thanks to the Cyber Center that is continuing to grow there. And so we're seeing some fintech companies crop up out there as well. But like I say, this is a truly global opportunity. So students hopefully will come here to Georgia to learn about it, and hopefully they'll stay here in Georgia because this is where the vast bulk of the opportunities are. But they can truly go anywhere in the world and work in fintech, especially in the year 2019 and beyond, when technology allows us to jump over whole oceans and continents in the blink of an eye. We have over 40,000 employees currently in Georgia in fintech. But like I say, globally, there are over 15 million card-enabled merchants that rely on those companies. And so the potential here is great and continuing to grow, but you don't have to take my word for it. I'm now going to turn it over to Dr. Levita Pullins, who will tell you more about it.
Okay, so I will start with the journey that led to the creation of the Georgia FinTech Academy. A couple of years back, a career demand analysis was initiated by the University System of Georgia and its key stakeholders. That analysis identified 5 areas of demand, and these are the areas that you see listed. These areas all fall within that fintech ecosystem that Andrew just shared. The analysis also showed that by the year 2021, there will be a demand for over 5,000 fintech positions. After 2021, there will be a demand of 2,000 positions annually. And some of these career areas, some of them are very lucrative. Students could leave college starting at 6 figures. I spoke with a professor not too long ago who mentioned that students leaving his program start at $80,000 a year, and they move up from there.
And we know what you're thinking. Is this TAP approved? Because you may want to get in on some of that action as well. So look into that.
Okay, and here are some careers that fall within that fintech industry. And we also listed salary ranges just so you can have an idea of how lucrative some of these careers actually are. Okay, so the University System of Georgia's response to this demand was the creation of the Georgia FinTech Academy. The FinTech Academy is the opportunity for all USG institutions to collaborate with the fintech sector in order to prepare students for the fintech workforce. That collaboration could be the development of curriculum or the implementation of the experiential learning program.
Right. And another way of looking at this is that the academy is truly the nexus point. I know we use that word a lot these days, especially with the nexus degrees coming online. There's one already up and running in Columbus, but soon across the entire system. But again, this is truly a nexus point between employers and job opportunities and our students, the workforce talent that we will soon be developing.
Okay, so the advantage for our students, no matter where they're located in the state, will be eligible or able to take advantage of the FinTech courses, the same FinTech courses, and receive credit for their institution via eCampus. Students will also have the opportunity to receive valuable on-the-job training no matter where they're located across the state. This could be virtual, face-to-face, or a combination of the two. It just depends on the negotiation with the employer. Okay, currently we have 16 institutions collaborating with the Academy. These are the institutions that you see listed. Now, if you don't see your institution listed, please go back to your institution and let them know what a wonderful opportunity this will be for students.
That's right.
Okay, so here are the 5 core courses that are available through the Academy. And these courses will give students a strong foundation, knowledge about the FinTech industry.
That's right. And, you know, we didn't want to go too in depth or into the weeds on these today, but you can find out more on our webpage, georgiafintechacademy.org. And of course, we're always happy to field any questions you may have about some of this stuff. But another point that it might be worth making at this juncture is, you know, currently you would get 15 credit hours if you completed all of these core courses. If you then took an experiential learning based opportunity, that would be another 3 credits. So you're talking 18 at this point. Now, for my money, that's worth at least a certificate. But again, that needs to originate on the institution level, wherever you think it might best fit. Some are utilizing these courses as stackable credentials that can help count toward other credentials. So if I am an undergrad trying to get a BA in business, I could take all of these core courses in an experiential-based learning opportunity, and that would count towards my overall degree of a BA. Again, I would love to see more certificates built around this or other credentials that it would incorporate these types of courses, but that would, of course, originate on the institution level. So if you have some thoughts around that, please reach out to us later. Let us know. We're happy to dialogue at any time about that.
Okay, so let me tell you just a little bit about my role. I came on board earlier in the year to lead and develop the experiential learning program. This program will have an internship model as well as an apprenticeship model. We've been working very closely with the U.S. Department of Labor, examining their registered apprenticeship program, which is a paid program where students actually receive a credential for whatever field they're in. So we're looking at that. There will also be job shadowing opportunities. And since I've been on board, employers have really been reaching out, asking how they can support the students of the Academy. So they have offered to provide webinars, come into the courses so they can share information about what to expect in that FinTech space. They've also agreed to help with our conferences, provide mentoring for the students. So really, when students they complete the experiential learning component of the Academy, they will have a wide variety of practical, real-world experience. All right, so some good candidates for the FinTech courses or the academy are listed on your screen. So these are good areas or areas that are related to the ones that you see listed. Okay, and so as we continue to build the Academy's programs, we do recognize the importance of diversity and inclusion. So we have been very strategic in reaching out to various initiatives across the system that support the typically underrepresented groups that you see listed on your screen. We're also keeping these groups in mind as we build out the programs, as we create programs. So, and we're just trying to get the opportunity, the FinTech Academy, and the opportunities out there to everyone. So if on your campuses, if there are events that you have that are supporting these groups, and you think that it'll be okay for us to come out and speak to the groups or the organizations, please send us a note and let us know what some of these groups or organizations, what they are, the contact information, and we'll be happy to come out.
That's right. Mm-hmm. We have our contact information listed later in the presentation. Mm-hmm. And so just to reiterate, please do reach out to us because we want you to view us as partners.
Yes.
I mean, this is a collaborative effort, and we want it to proceed as such. So we are here today, more so than anything else, to enlist you as partners in this wonderful new endeavor of the Georgia FinTech Academy. And in order to do that, we have some wonderful upcoming opportunities. As we mentioned earlier, eCampus is conducting a couple of webinars next week. Again, we highly recommend that you take part in those if able. We also have an event coming up on the 23rd of this month, which might be of benefit to some of your students, and we would ask that you please share the information about that. That is the FinTech Atlanta Student Summit. It will be here in Metro Atlanta, specifically at the American Cancer Society building. We can share more logistical information about that if you'd like. Now, just a disclaimer, this is not a USG event. This is an event put on by an organization known as FinTech Atlanta. They are a loose network of FinTech employers all around the state, but especially concentrated here in the metro area. But any and all are welcome to that. If your institution is not located here in Metro Atlanta, please don't think that you are not invited. And that goes for anything related to the Georgia FinTech Academy. Again, this is a system-wide effort, and so all are welcome, especially, as I mentioned earlier, in this day and age when just because a student may not physically be located here does not mean that they can't be located here virtually. So please check that out. We'll share more information about that upcoming event, but it is in some ways a networking event, but also a way to get students aware of the broader industry, get them excited about it. We would recommend, though, that if you do share it, encourage students who are upper level or grad level to come, because there will be employer representation there, and they're looking for students who are either already in the job seeking process or soon will be. So please keep that in mind. But we have another event.
Can I jump in 1 second, Andrew? I'd also like to add that there is no cost for this event.
Very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Other than parking here in Atlanta.
Other than parking, yes.
Which is enough of a cost for anybody. So yeah, again, any type of opportunity that we have, we want it to be as student-friendly and as accessible as possible. And so thank you, Dr. Pullins. That's a very important point to make. But we also have on November 7th, 2 weeks after that event, another opportunity that will be very student-oriented. It is an evening with the FinTech Academy. It will be physically located at the physical academy location on Georgia State's campus at 55 Park Place. And again, we'll send out more information about that as we have it to share with you. This will be yet another opportunity for students to engage with employers here in Georgia. We will have a keynote speaker from FIS, which is one of our major backers of this broader program. The FinTech Academy is actually a public-private initiative, and they were one of the very first to announce that they would be supporting it. Their senior vice president of, let's see, I believe she's leadership and product innovation, Esther Pig will be there. She'll be our keynote, but we're also going to be hearing from students. One in particular who is currently doing an internship with INCOM, another one of our valued partners in this endeavor. He's a high flyer from KSU, a senior, and he'll be able to speak directly to other students about what they could expect and why he was interested in this field and why he is so passionate about it. So please check that out as well, November 7th. Don't forget, we're going to be providing free food because we know that's the best way to get anybody anywhere. And so just once more, we will be sharing all of this information in greater detail through other communication means. So stay tuned. And lastly, here is the promised contact information for both Dr. Pullins and myself. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions regarding the FinTech Academy. But if you have any questions regarding eCampus specifically or enrollment and how all that works, we want to refer you to Dr. Sarah Cook from eCampus. She's their Executive Director of Academics. Please reach out to them. We certainly don't want to overstep or try to get into their lane because they know far better than we do about all of that. But they will, just to reiterate, they're going to be the ones providing the instruction for these courses for the FinTech Academy. And they are truly a very valued partner because with that setup, we're able to reach students all over the state, not just those who are physically located here in Metro Atlanta, but anywhere, anytime, you can benefit from Georgia FinTech Academy courses. So with that, we will transition into Q&A, but I'm going to leave it on our contact information page just to make sure you have ample time to capture that information. And with that, I think we'll ask our wonderful partners at eCampus who are helping us run this today's webinar if they could open it up for questions.
Andrew, this is Jessica. I think the main question we've received a few different times is just if the presentation and slides will be shared afterwards.
Definitely.
Yes, that will definitely be shared. We're going to be sharing this entire presentation as well as more in-depth information around the FinTech Academy so that you'll be well equipped anytime that you have any questions on your campuses. And again, another big reason why we're doing this today and we'll continue to engage with you is because we want to enlist you as partners in this endeavor, if for nothing else than to reach our students. That's truly who we're hoping to reach at the end of the day and connect with this opportunity, both academically and professionally. We are keeping them at the forefront of our minds in everything that we do around the Academy, but we need your help to reach them, to market them, to let them know that, hey, this is a wonderful opportunity. You may want to investigate it, and if possible, sign up and become a part of it.
And if there's any additional information that's needed, please reach out to us because, like I said, we are excited about going on to the campuses and just sharing information wherever we can. So we're not afraid to travel. We don't have a problem with it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. If you're more old school and prefer face-to-face, we can do that. We can deliver. I do want to say, though, while we're talking about it, that open enrollment for spring semester is already open for some of your institutions, and if not, they very soon will be. And so this is a prime time to really get students talking about this and make them aware of the FinTech Academy so that they can enroll in those eCampus courses for the spring. Now, again, I know I keep saying this, sound like a broken record, but I just want to say one last time that any questions regarding actual enrollment process into eCampus delivered courses, you should direct those questions to them. They're a wonderful team to work with, and that webinar on Monday and Tuesday of next week should be very informative.
Okay, I have another question. Perhaps Dr. Cook could answer this. Can you take FinTech courses as a graduate student, or is it just for undergrad?
And Dr. Cook?
Presently, the courses are set up as 3,000, 4,000 level courses. The ones in the FinTech core existingly are all 4,000, which are at the undergrad level. And it depends on how a student is going to use these courses within an existing program of study. So institutions may restrict how students take these courses, but certainly, as Andrew was speaking of earlier, some institutions are looking at creating these courses as a certificate, and that would be like a post or a continuation of a bachelor's degree level certificate. So it depends on how your institution is using the courses, but the course level is at the undergraduate level. But we do envision a lot of people may return back to higher ed just to pick up these courses and these skill sets, particularly if they're changing career fields.
Right. The demand is truly great. As Dr. Pullins mentioned earlier, 5,000 FinTech-ready professionals needed today and 2,000 a year following 2021. So, I mean, there's no shortage of jobs.
Right.
There is a massive workforce gap currently, and these courses are designed to help us begin filling that gap and making students not only familiar with but well prepared for these types of jobs beyond higher ed.
Thank you, Sarah. I have another question from someone who would like to invite FinTech companies to come to career fairs and recruiting events to recruit their students. Is there a list of companies and contacts that can be shared?
Well, I would suggest you reach out to us and just let us know, share the events, or we'd like to have a conversation with you to talk about it, and then we can move forward from there.
That's right. And part of that is because we do have several companies that are already on board with this. We mentioned Incom and FIS, but we're engaging with more and more all the time. And that's why we ask. It's not for ego's sake that we ask you to go through us. It's more so that we can truly present to you the full array of opportunities out there for connecting with businesses.
Okay.
Thank you for the question.
Let me see. Okay, I have a question about the times of the events that you mentioned.
Okay, so for the October 23rd event, that will be an all-day event. And again, we're going to send out more of these particular information items following this webinar. But that will be an all-day event here in Metro Atlanta. I think for students, it runs from 11 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. There is a program built into that time, followed by a couple of hours, I believe, for networking with companies. For the November 7th event, that will be in the evening after classes, or most classes are well over, hoping that it'll be more conducive for students that way. It will begin at 6:30, like I said, at the FinTech Academy's physical presence on Georgia State's campus, and it will run most likely to about 8 o'clock. We have a program built in that will probably only last no more than 45 minutes, followed by a nice reception and networking hour.
Right. And if there are students that are interested, we would like for students to register for both events so that we'll know how many to expect.
Right. And we can share those registration links with everybody here, and please forward them on to others. Thank you for the question.
I do not have any more questions at the time. I will just add that eCampus does have some informational flyers that can be shared with students about the FinTech core courses available through eMajor. So we have a supply of those that we're planning to mail out to all of the participating advising offices at participating institutions. So those will go out probably next week. And I also shared in the chat window the URL to the eMajor website where information on those courses can be found.
Yes, thank you so much, Jessica. Jessica's been wonderful. She has put up with myself and Dr. Pullins for a while now, mostly me. But yeah, I would also like to add the point, though, that we really do need y'all's help on the institution level. So please engage with us. We will certainly be engaging with you. And please share the information that you've learned here today and will get from us later with not just the people who might work in your own particular department, but also, across department there at your institution level. Believe it or not, there's a bit of a silo problem on institutions, which we only thought we had here in the system office, but we know that that's just the way of it. But please, if you would help us overcome those barriers, that would be greatly appreciated. Like I say, now is the big time for the push because of enrollment for spring semester courses. We're trying to get as many into these courses as possible. And I'll say also, just to finish up, that the chancellor and the regents, one of their big priorities is not only that we educate more students, but that we truly prepare them for the workforce beyond. We prepare them for the world beyond the classroom. I've heard the chancellor say a couple of times now that we not only want to help students get across the stage at the end of their senior year and shake the hand of the president, but then turn around and shake the hand of their employer. And that's something that we've kept very much in mind when we're developing opportunities like this, like the Georgia FinTech Academy. This is a great way to not only educate students and prepare them for the workforce, but to actually connect them directly with people who are most likely going to employ them. There's been some studies that have come out over the past year that say those who go through an apprenticeship or some type of work-based learning opportunity are far more likely to then be hired by that employer, and not only being hired, but then remain with them for over 5 years after the fact because the quality of that relationship. So we're keeping that in mind. This is helping us do that. It's filling a very high demand right now, and we would just very much appreciate your help in that effort. So thank you all again for taking the time.
Thank you.
You'll be hearing from us.
Yes.